Welcome to episode 4 of WooWoo for the Skeptic. I'm your host, Kim Polinder. Join me each week as I explore the world of spirituality and metaphysics. This week's episode will be focused upon Reiki for the inner child. What is Reiki, and what is the inner child? Stay tuned to find out, and thank you for listening. It seems most everyone has heard of Reiki in some capacity. Out of all of the energy healing modalities, I've found Reiki to be the most widely known among people I've met. So what is this Reiki business all about? My interview today is with Mary Sotelo, a Reiki Master here in San Diego. As I mentioned in episode 1, I booked a few sessions with Mary when I was first venturing out into the world of energy healing. What drew me to Mary was her focus on the inner child. I've worked extensively with the inner child in both my personal healing as well as with my clients, and I was very curious how Reiki would fit in with inner child work. To get us all on the same page, let's first talk about what the inner child is. People often think, well, my inner child is probably just me as a kid, which is correct, but let's expand on that. The inner child represents our emotions and feelings, as well as our creativity. The two go hand in hand, which is why art therapy and opening up your creative channels can be so healing on an emotional level. As an adult, you are the only person who can parent your inner child because you are the only person who understands what that child has been through. And if your inner child isn't getting what it needs from you, it will seek attention and validation outside of you and be dependent or codependent upon others for self-worth. But instead of listing other left-brain factoids about the inner child, let's do something different today. I'm going to lead you through a brief guided meditation, which will allow you to actually meet your inner child. This, by far, is my favorite meditation I do with clients who are just learning to get in touch with their inner child. So find a comfy, preferably quiet place to sit back and relax, and let's cue up some meditation music. Gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. Breathe deeply into your belly, filling it up, and then exhale, pulling your belly in towards your spine. Go ahead and take another deep breath into the belly, fully exhaling it all out. With every breath in, imagine you're breathing in pink healing light. And as you exhale, imagine you're exhaling out brown negative energy. Take one more deep breath, and as you exhale, let your body fall into a natural rhythm of breathing. Still breathing in pink healing light and exhaling out brown negative energy. Every breath is an opportunity to let go and relax a little bit more. And now imagine a very bright white light just above your head, and let that white light enter into your body through the top of your head, and as it moves down to your forehead, imagine it's a thick, puffy cream, filling up every pore as it moves downward. Moving down now through your eyes, to your mouth, down to your chin. See the thick white substance filling up your neck, moving down through your throat, down to your arms and elbows, and down to the very tips of your fingers. And now moving into your upper chest, wrapping completely around your heart and filling it up with love and healing. Now it moves down through your stomach and torso, continuing down to your legs, to your knees, and down to your ankles and toes. And now imagine roots growing out from your feet deep into the earth. As your roots grow, let your negative energy of the day flow into the ground. This white healing energy has filled up your body. Feel its comfort and warmth, its security, You can relax a little bit more now, knowing you're filled with this loving, supportive energy. As you relax more, you can follow your mind back into the vault of special memories, back into a very peaceful, magical place from your childhood, your own secret place. A safe place you could go to, or a secret happy place just as you wish it would have been. Here in your cove, you can look out on the world and enjoy the colors and sounds, and the safe feeling of comfort in your own little special place. And as you relax, you can find your child self here. Little you is here. They're waiting for you know them better and love them more than any other person in the world. They feel safe with you and are so happy to see you. Look at them closely and notice the details. How old are they? What are they wearing? And how do they seem to you? Are they excited or happy to see you? Or perhaps they're confused at seeing you for the first time, and that's okay. Look into their eyes and smile at them. Feel how their warmth and love touches your heart deeply. As this bond grows, go to them. If you feel comfortable enough, give them a hug and hold them. Feel their joy and love for you. They've been waiting for this for a long time, and it's probably been so long since they've seen you. And they have so much to tell you. They may want to tell you in words, or maybe in pictures, or perhaps in feelings. Or maybe they just want to play a game with you. Whatever it may be, this is their time. All you need to do is be there with them and understand no matter what they have been through, what they may have done, what experiences they have had. Let them communicate with you in the way that they choose. When they're done communicating with you, let them feel your compassion through your eyes and your heart. Comfort them, and if they allow you to, hug and hold them, and let them know that you will never leave them again, that you will always be there for them, that no matter what happens, you will always love them and help and support them. Let them know they are safe with you. Now he or she wants to take you by the hand through a special garden. They want to show you how cool the flowers are and the sandcastle they have built near a pond. See how vibrant the colors are and feel the soft, refreshing breeze. Maybe they want to introduce you to their favorite animals. These animals have been their very best friends, and they want to share them with you. And now they want to take you to a secret place where they have hidden a special gift for you. A gift that they have kept specifically for you. And when you come to that secret place, there is a pile of logs, and they reach between the logs and pull out your gift. As they hand it to you, take it and thank them. You may either open it now or save it for later. And now it's time to say goodbye, but let them know that you will be back soon, that you have never really left. Before you leave, take another look around. Is there anything he or she wants you to see? Is there anything else they want to say? And after this is done, hug them and say goodbye. Goodbye just for now, because they are always there inside of you. And now you walk back from the garden, taking your time, allowing yourself to just enjoy the feelings of love and caring, and knowing with complete certainty that you have always been worthy of love. And now come back into your body and into the room. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. I hope that meditation was a meaningful experience for you. It's always interesting to note at what age your child first appears. In my work, I've found that the most pivotal age, emotionally, is around 6 to 8 years old. I've also found that there's always a special message for you in the imagery that came forward in that meditation. Perhaps it was remembering a special pet or childhood memory that you hadn't thought about for a while. And the gift they give you is also a very important message for you, and something that always comes from the heart. So let's move on to today's interview. I'm sure you will find that Mary is a very gentle and loving soul and genuinely cares so deeply about every person she works or trains with. And if you want to work with Mary, her website is ReikiHealingArtsSD.com, which stands for Reiki Healing Arts San Diego. Her email is marysotelo@cox.net, and all of her contact info is in the show notes, or you can go to WooWooForTheSkeptic.com to get all of her info. And now I am excited to present my conversation with Mary Sotelo. Hi everyone, today I am excited to introduce Mary Sotelo. Mary's passion lies in supporting others in the transformational process of discovering their unique inner healers and spiritual paths. She studied with her own Reiki Master Teacher, Neumeier Rientord, for 22 years. Today, Mary teaches Reiki at holistic health colleges, facilitates Reiki classes and retreats, and provides Reiki to individual clients. She has a master's in counseling, is certified in teaching transformational breath, and has studied healing touch, educational kinesiology, guided imagery, and the art of spiritual direction. Mary, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for having me.
Well, why don't we start out by you telling the listeners a little bit about your personal background and how you became interested in Reiki and transformational breath and that sort of thing.
Well, my attraction was a natural attraction way back in my early 20s when I began to really seek an understanding of myself, my healing process, and I've been working with my teacher since my late 20s. It was at that time I was growing in my interest in the practice of meditation, healing within, awakening to this deeper understanding of myself, of life, and my part in it. I connected with Marie. She was a psychotherapist and still is, that taught many workshops and retreats in support of our healing. And she taught from the perspective of healing as spiritual path, our life path. So she began to teach Reiki and utilized it and taught it in all of her work. It was about that time that I was studying healing touch and educational kinesiology. So I was beginning to deepen my own understanding of the wisdom of our bodies and the truth that our issues really do lie in our tissues. It was true, and this is largely taught in the holistic colleges. And this notion that our bodies carry around old pain, memories and fears and limiting beliefs that lay repressed and suppressed, which can give us that feeling of feeling stuck or flat in some way. So my path to Reiki was really through my own teacher and her inspiration, witnessing and experiencing the beauty and the transformation of her work. I began to take classes with her. I received my attunement through her and completed my master teacher in 2002. And Reiki's been a way of life for me ever since.
Well, that is wonderful. I love that phrase, the issues are in your tissues. That's so true.
Yes, it's so true. And I love the coined phrase from Carolyn Mace, our biographies become our biology. And I experienced and found that to be true as well.
Yeah. Well, for those of us, including myself out there, who don't know the history of Reiki, can you tell us a little bit more of that and how long it's been around and been used?
Yes, Reiki has been around since the beginning of time. Reiki is the art of hands-on healing. It is our birthright to heal. It's been a part of every culture, every wisdom tradition, every religion, really. And in Reiki training, when we talk about the history, we credit and we honor Dr. Usui, who was a monk back in the late 1800s, who made it his soul's mission, his pilgrimage, to reclaim this lost ancient healing art and bring it back to the hands of the people, quite literally, bringing back the power of healing back to the people. And in his quest, and we could go into more detail in a class setting, what he discovered was how the great masters managed to bring healing to the people to experience it was simply through opening up the Crown Chakra and allowing more of this beautiful life force energy to flow through them. And the natural course of the energy flow is through the Crown Chakra, down into the heart, extending out through the arms, and then, of course, the hands.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit more about the Crown Chakra and just like what a chakra is, and specifically the crown?
Yes. Chakras are portals. They're windows. It's how our life force animates this amazing physical body that we reside in. The chakras each correlate with the organs in the endocrine system as well as our emotional components of being human. So the energy, our life force, which animates this experience that we have, the entry point is the Crown Chakra for all of us, whether we're aware of that or not. And the life force energy flows in from the crown down into the third eye and the throat and the heart, all the way down through the root, extending through our legs, out through the bottoms of our feet, connecting us to Earth, to Mother Earth. So we're really here experiencing a spiritual being in a physical experience.
So there's definitely a flow then where it comes in through the top and then down through the body.
Yes.
Okay. And then for Reiki specifically, so what goes on when you are doing Reiki?
Well, if we look at Reiki as life force, as the ultimate life force, unconditional love, the ultimate highest vibration that animates all of life. So not only these physical bodies, but what blooms a flower, the light of the sun, the light of the moon, all of Earth and her creations. It's the life force. So in a Reiki session, or Reiki healing, self-healing, which is first and foremost, we're asking for more for the purpose of healing, for the purpose of balancing and restoring balance and wholeness to our physical, our emotional, and our mental body. And that's how Reiki works. As more flows in, this high vibrational energy, this unconditional love, it helps to loosen and release the tensions, thus relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, helping us to open up to see in higher ways, or to open our hearts to feel more openly, or to feel safe and secure, just grounding into whatever we might be experiencing in our daily life. It's a life support. And so as this energy more, because we've asked for more for the purpose of balancing or healing, anytime we use the word balance, we can say healing. The body comes into a balanced state, a relaxed state, its natural state. This natural human configuration is intended to be in a state of wholeness. It's its birthright. And by the way, that is our birthright. Our birthright is to heal, to allow ourselves to heal.
Mm-hmm. So you're just kind of taking the energy that we already have accessible to us and magnifying it for healing?
I'm simply a channel for this energy that we already have and asking for more for the specific purpose of balancing a particular body or organ or a life situation or, say, an emotional trigger that might be up within me or my client, say some anxiety or some nervous tension or some anger, anything that might take us out of our sense of balance. We can breathe. Our breath is Reiki. Our breath is life force. I utilize breath in every session all day long, actually, whenever I need to feel more centered and grounded. Really checking into the breath, the life force coming deep into the hips and up into the heart, flowing through all of my chakras regardless of what I'm feeling. And then what happens, the natural extension of that, is you begin to feel more balanced and grounded and centered.
So what I've always been curious about is you as a Reiki practitioner, does the energy flow through you and then through them, or do you just ask the energy to come through to them?
As a practitioner, yes, I am facilitating the session. The client would be participating as well. So Reiki is not really something that's done to you, but a mutual participation in allowing more of this divine energy, divine love to restore a sense of balance and relaxation. So the recipient would simply lie on a table with their clothes on, and the Reiki protocol is to start at the Crown Chakra and to lay our hands on the crown and the side of the head, which brings balance to the brain. You know, we can get caught up in our mental review that keeps us in a loop. So the hands on either side or both sides of the head and over the ears brings some balance and relaxation to that mental focus. The back of the head, that's our fear brain. We're in fear, we can't really think clearly. Our anxiety heightens. And so hands on the back of the occiput really relaxes and releases some of that fear so that we can drop down and relax into our body. And then as a practitioner, I or a practitioner would lay hands on every chakra. So the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus right above the navel, the sacral chakra, the navel, the root chakra, the hips, the knees, the ankles, the feet. And you feel it. We say in a Reiki 1 training that if you have an hour session, it can be likened to the first 20 minutes being the Reiki energy just flowing through and opening and relaxing the physical, mental, and emotional body. And in that state of relaxation, the chakras just open and they're just bathed in this love. And it's like, oh, thank you. I don't need to carry this anymore. And those repressions and suppressions that we've carried for lifetimes, fears and anxieties or beliefs that are really holding us back in some capacity, can emerge and move through, literally just move through and out. So the chakras in that second, say 20 minutes of a session, it's likened to that time of release. And a client may experience an emotional component that goes with that, or maybe not, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. It absolutely is. You can feel the lightness at the end of a session. And that third 20 minutes can be likened to that sense of mystical connection, what we all feel when we feel good and we're rested and we're balanced and we're centered and all is well in our world. We feel our connection to spirit, to a higher power. We feel supported. And so at the end of an hour, let's say that person leaves the session, goes back into their daily life. And really the truth is nothing has changed in their daily life at all, but they have, we have. With our chakras opened and balanced, we feel grounded and safe and secure. That's that root chakra. We feel like we have the capacity to support the emotions of the second chakra. The inner child lives there. We can nurture that feeling state that might be emerging at any point in time. We feel a sense of our own power to be authentic. That's that solar plexus. We feel safe in our own heart, that what we feel, what we think, what we see, our relationships, our heart is open, without judgment, a very compassionate, open heart. our throat is open. We feel a natural state, a safety, and a capacity to speak our truth in loving ways or more loving ways, especially to ourself. And that's that first step of speaking our truth is perhaps our journal, where it's safe and we develop that capacity to be honest with others from there. And the third eye, with that opened and balanced, we can go out into our life situations and interact from the larger perspective. When the third eye is open, we're more connected to our own internal intuition. We can see that bigger picture of life and be guided from that place within to action or inaction or whatever it is that we need to see at that time. And then, of course, the crown, when that is open and balanced, regardless of what's going on in our life, we feel supported and connected and really trust that all of life is organizing around our success. These life experiences, these emotional experiences, these times of darkness or confusion are never meant to take us down, so to speak, but really to empower us and lift us up. Because on the other side of our processing and our transformation, we feel more whole and more authentic and on purpose with that which we've come to be and to do and to serve in this world.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I love how you broke down each of the chakras and what they're related to, and what you described about the progression in the 20-minute increments. In my first session, I remember I had tension in my jaw when you started working at the head, and just as you kept working, I could feel the energy flowing, and it's exactly how you described at the end of the session. I felt very relaxed and very in touch with spirit, so to speak, with my higher self, and it was wonderful.
Yes, your higher self connection.
And you mentioned specifically the sacral chakra, the second chakra, and how that's related to the inner child. Now, Reiki can be used for many things, and I really love how you focus your work on the inner child. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Well, yes, and we can come back to Reiki every day in every way, because absolutely we use it throughout our day in everything, all aspects of relating to our daily life. But the inner child, that small self, that part of us, our feeling self, the part of us that feels, and we may have been taught to shut that part of us down, or we may have some sensitivities to being vulnerable or open, or maybe afraid of our own emotions. And the child part of us really holds not only our creativity and our gifts and our light, but he also holds some of the woundings that we may have experienced when we came into this world in our early years. The inner child as well may take on some old patterns that we may have had for many lives, and we've come to bring them to completion in this life through our healing process. So the inner child, when somebody is distraught or tense or feeling angry or scared or sad in the present day, what we say in a Reiki presentation is we heal in the present moment. That's the only place we can heal. Thus why being in the present moment is so important. So the feelings that we're feeling, they're very old. It's old pain being triggered from past history in the present moment. So sometimes it's not the best news to feel triggered and to not feel your adult self. So in a Reiki session, we help to bring a very empowered process to empowering our own inner attachment, our own inner bond from our adult self to our child self. So our adult self, our higher self, that has the capacity and the wisdom of years of experience and growth and knows the truth about life. But that old pain in our body, that small self, hasn't experienced that. And she or he is coming up to share some of those outdated beliefs and fears. And if we can stay present and listen and validate and honor the old pain that's coming up to be expressed.
For any listeners out there who might be curious about inner child work, what are some signs or experiences or feelings that would indicate that something like Reiki for the inner child would be beneficial to them?
Any number of stuck points that we might come up against. Say we're in conflict with our partner or somebody in our life that's very important to us. Fears, anxieties. We're trying to make a change in our life. We're trying to take a step forward in our careers, our lives, our relationships, and we seem to keep hitting that same wall, so to speak, a familiar wall. And we may have the sense of, it's just not worth it, rather than to really bring some nurturing and attention to what that's about and move through it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So for your session then, what would that look like? Like, how do you incorporate the inner child work into your session?
It's very intuitively inspired. It's absolutely intuitively inspired. Whatever comes up on a Reiki table, Reiki brings up. And that's another thing we would share in a class is what Reiki brings up, Reiki will bring to completion. So whatever emotion is coming up, well, then it's up. It's time. We're ready. We're ready to process and let that go. So let's say it's usually if somebody is speaking about a stuck point and there's a story around it. Absolutely, there's a story in present day. And as the Reiki's flowing and a lot of energy to the second chakra, and have the client or yourself in your own self-healing, just really sensing in to the feeling state, the self in the body that's feeling, acknowledging it, turning toward and connecting with it, not away from it, because that's our tendency is to run away, but to turn toward and connect with our feelings, extending love and compassion. And so energetically we're doing that too. I'll have the client breathe right in to that feeling, that tension, that pain, emotional or physical. And within just a short period of time, asking the client or myself, how old is this part of me? When have I felt this before? And it's an intuitive experience for the inner process of the client. They know, and they'll see that vision, that just little clip, and what was going on for you at the time. And the feelings start to open up because it's like it's safe to talk about it. In the Reiki energy, everything is safe. And I do get that feedback from every client actually. It's a safe way to process. Then we begin a dialogue with that precious small self, really listening without judgment, not trying to change or fade it or fix it, but to validate and affirm what he or she is saying. And then the second part, which is very healing, the nurturing part from the higher self, the adult self, asking that part of you, that child part of you, what do you need from me today? What do you need from me today, sweetheart? And listening. And that part will say or intuit something. Hold me, stand up for me, take me with you, be with me, don't leave me. Whatever the case may be, depending on the age of what the wounding is related to. And so again, we want to speak back from this wise, adult, spiritual, higher self that knows the truth about life and that, you are nothing but love. You are precious and honored, and your beingness has purpose, and I'm so glad that you're here, and wanting to nurture and empower that part of us to feel safe and secure and nurtured and loved and celebrated. So in completing with that is to make a commitment to ourselves as the client, to act on that, taking care of that need, to do that which that part of you asked for. And it's a beautiful way to stay connected to our needs on a daily basis, because we all have needs, and needs are sacred. Needs met help us to move on our life path and share ourselves and our love and our hearts. And, it's contagious. We may have been told our needs are insignificant or don't matter, but what we realize on this healing journey is, they're beautiful and they're simple. It's just a need. It's not a big deal. To meet the need from within, to take action if inspired, is very empowering and very healing. And as we nurture that capacity within ourselves, we begin to feel a strength and a security and an inner bond that's unshakable. And that inner bond, we know that things come up in life, we're triggered, we're off center, we're struggling at times, but there's an inner bond, an ability to self-nurture from within, to call upon Reiki life force, to ask for more of this energy to help me move through the old and anchor in the new, the truth of who I am, so that I can move in my life and connect to others and connect to life. Most importantly, connect and love myself with my whole heart, without fear that I'm not enough, or that there isn't enough love or enough time or enough whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. I love what you say about validating the inner child, listening. I've done a lot of work with my inner child, and I remember how awkward it was at first to think of having my inner child sit on my knee, sit on my lap, or even have a dialogue with her. But as you get over that and start to really sink into creating a relationship with them, it's really amazing what comes forward. And I remember in one of our sessions, my inner child, I remember a memory of her feeling alone and frustrated and turning to food, peanut butter specifically. So it's just so fascinating what can come forward from your inner child when you just start to listen.
Yes, absolutely. Your story is absolutely amazing and beautiful and powerful, and just such a source of wisdom and inspiration for all of us. I loved reading what you wrote on Huffington Post, and that's it exactly. And now here you are inspiring others and empowering others, that regardless of what happens to us, and we talk about this in Reiki trainings and classes, that we cannot stop the spirit from flowing through us no matter what has happened, no matter what I have experienced, what I have done, what I have not done. That spirit, our birthright, we've come here to serve a purpose and to experience connectedness. On the other side of our healing, we realize that which I've come to heal, I've come to give, which you're certainly the embodiment of that example in the work that you do. It's beautiful, Kim.
Thank you.
And that we can have the courage to move through those times where it is a little bit more of a stretch for us in the beginning, or maybe the emotional energy might feel too intense, to trust that this too shall pass. On the other side, this inner relationship that we have with ourselves and with the Reiki energy, we can move mountains and experience deep love and deep connection.
Yeah, and everyone can do that as well. Yeah, I remember I used to, at some point in my 30s, I had kind of written myself off like, oh, I'm never going to be connected to my feelings or emotions, and that's just the way I am. But that's absolutely not true. It's whatever your intention is, your life will follow.
I would agree. With self-healing, which Reiki 1 is all about, the self-healing practice. So we're doing that. We're honoring ourselves at our own little 5, 10-minute, 30-minute meditation of just bringing more healing to ourselves through our own hands, or even just visually, just an intention. And in that restoration to balance, our throat chakra opens up. We begin to speak and feel in ways we never thought we were capable of.
For any listeners out there who are curious about Reiki and what we've been talking about and might want to try a session, I'd like to talk about the other uses that it can be used for, and maybe you can talk about transformation in clients or what kind of work you do with clients.
Reiki is for everything. We use it every day in every way. That's our mantra. And our second mantra is let Reiki do the work. So we're in this constant surrender and just asking for more of this divine, unconditional, loving, supportive energy to move through. So everyday uses. You can water your plants with it, and I invite all the listeners to try and experiment. Give one plant Reiki and just see what happens. The green gets greener and the flowers bloom. We can use it to bless our food. We can use it to enhance whatever supplement or even a prescription that we're taking. It's always meant to bring our highest good. May the highest good of this food, the highest good of this, could be your prescription or your everyday supplements, your needs. Using it to send it out ahead of our day, to bless our day. Maybe there's some tensions at work. In Reiki 2, we talk about this bridge of light where we're sending Reiki. It's a prayer. And by the way, Reiki is a path of spirituality. There's no dogma attached. So Reiki is likened to a prayer, and that I'm just sending this bridge of light to whatever I might meet today, to whomever I might meet. And in that, I'm asking for the highest interaction, the highest heartfelt intention. We can use it to bring loving, higher energy or inspiration to any life situation we're in. Maybe it's a predicament. Maybe we just need to move, but we don't know where, and we're really discerning where. Where is that right new house for me? What school shall I attend? Is this job right for me? Is it time to leave? Is it not? We can bring it to our relationships so that we're relating from our higher selves, from one higher self to the other higher self, which can resolve conflicts a lot more quickly. You can use it on anything. I love the book, Reiki for Dummies. It just really is a light, easy read. And it just shows you it's everyday stuff. Use it for headaches. Use it to just relax your mind when you're trying to bring forth information, to calm your anxieties. Even as you're driving, you can put one hand on that second chakra or that solar plexus and breathe, bringing some relief to the anxiety. It's beautiful for anxiety. It's a must for anxiety. I have plenty of clients with anxiety issues, and Reiki is the go-to, absolutely the go-to. The anti-anxieties take a back seat because it works. When we're breathing into any anxiety, I always like to remind and support the client that when we bring energy, we bring breath, we bring Reiki to that. We'll just talk about anxiety. Could be another type of fear or pain, emotion. It may momentarily enhance, increase. Why? Because it's coming out of the suppression. So if our issues are in our tissues, whatever has been kept down, it takes a whole lot more energy to keep an emotion suppressed than it does to just go ahead and feel it and bring it some love and breathe and let it flow out of you. Much more beneficial, much more graceful, and you feel better faster. And you're done. You're complete. You don't have to repress that emotion back down, that fear, that limiting belief back down until it gets triggered in the present moment. You mentioned clients. Clients come for any number of reasons. Whatever's happening in the present moment, they're seeking what I see as their higher self knows that Reiki is a source of empowerment right within them that they can take home with them and use every day themselves to support the unfolding of whatever issue is at hand, to support the insight and the intuition that will guide them through to the next step, that will pave the way for a brighter, more loving future that's in connection with their soul's vision, their soul's desire. I've had clients that so appreciate Reiki energy flowing through them as they tell their story. And this isn't psychotherapy by any means. People like to share. People like to tell their stories. People have an innate need to open up that throat chakra and speak. So in a traditional environment of sharing our story, the emotions can come up and there's that tendency to keep pushing them back down. Or maybe, something that we've never talked about, a trauma, might just start coming out of your mouth. Reiki is so loving and so supportive, like truth serum sometimes. It just comes up because it wants to free your body to feel that lightness and that balance. But having said that, the feedback is that without the Reiki flowing, it's as if you tend to carry that trauma with you even though you've shared about it, even though you've expressed it. Rather than with the Reiki flowing, the literal core issue, the core trauma at the cellular memory at the core is released. So it really is moving through and gone. There might be another aspect that comes up, but layer by layer, piece by piece, we are being bathed and letting go of that old identity, that old pain. My teacher in the first chapter of her book is on the inner child. The book is called Falling into Place, Healing Through Connecting. She speaks of this notion that we've been carrying our pain around for eons, literally just been carrying our pain around for eons, for lifetimes, and we haven't known how to release it. We haven't had a tool, we haven't had a way to literally release it out of our memory. And Reiki is that gift and grace. It's very gentle. This is what Dr. Usui returned to the power of the people, this ability and this birthright to bring healing to our lives, ourselves, our relationships, our life experiences in a way that flows. people will share, clients will share, they just feel lighter, and sometimes 100 pounds lighter, because emotional weight is very heavy. That shroud can feel very dark. You absolutely never leave a Reiki session feeling heavy, or that you haven't really released and rebalanced something, even if not a word was spoken. Even if not a word was spoken, doesn't mean you have to speak. The graceful, gentle healing art. We can put it on physical pain. Often if we work with the physical pain in the body, the client may have no connection to what that's about. So we just lay hands on that area, invite the client to breathe into that area that's feeling the physical pain. And it's amazing. It's just amazing how with that life force flowing through, the next layer and the next layer, the words come, or the emotions come, the connection to what this is about comes, and that old physical pain opens up to be released and expressed and completed. And that's what we're doing on any spiritual path of healing, which they're one and the same, is completing our past patterns, our limiting beliefs, our old pain that we've carried forward, that we now, in this age of light, have so much energy to support us and moving through much more quickly. So it doesn't have to be arduous or painful at all. In classes or healing circles or workshops or retreats that we do here, I would think it's fair to say that everyone experiences just a tremendous joy and a deep sense of heart connection. And we laugh and we cry and we play, and it's like everyday stuff. And it's very real. And they feel very real and authentic with one another, because we're all in this together. We're all walking in this healing relationship together. It's a whole lot more fun together, too.
Well, I love that. I love the aspect of being able to talk about your old story while the Reiki energy is running through you, and how that plays off of each other to bring up memories that are coming up to be healed and released, because so often our childhood memories, emotions, feelings just get stuck in us at a cellular level. So it's just a wonderful modality.
Yes, absolutely. A gift and grace.
All right. Well, we're coming to a close here, but before I let you go, I wanted to switch gears for a minute and just ask you a few fun questions so that listeners can get to know a more personal side of you. The first question is, what is your favorite birthday or Christmas present you ever received?
Oh, that's a good one.
And it can be as a child or an adult.
Well, the first thought that comes to mind is the thrill of finally getting that 10-speed bike when I was 10 years old.
Oh.
I could hear my dad wheeling it in, thinking I was asleep, but I wasn't. But I sleep that night. I couldn't wait to ride that bike.
Oh.
And then, of course, as an adult, the gifts that my children make me, the cards my daughter writes me, or the things my son makes for me, he crochets and knits, they just open my heart like never before. I love it. That's my favorite.
Oh, I love the personalized gifts. They mean so much more than the store-bought ones.
Absolutely.
And, okay, the second question is, what was the worst thing you got in trouble for with your parents?
Oh, that's another good question. The worst thing. Well, the truth is, I got in a lot of trouble for nothing. I had the good Catholic family, and my mom was fairly strict. So for talking in class and probably the worst thing was I did stay out all night when I was in high school. I was a senior, and that was pretty bad. And I was on restriction for a year, so.
Wow.
I paid the price.
Wow. That is harsh.
Some work on the table with those things,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and lastly, what is the number one thing on your bucket list?
Oh, the number one thing on my bucket list. It's time to travel again. And the challenge would be to where. But Machu Picchu is coming to mind. And I see, pictures of others' travels, and it's very attractive, very inspiring.
I love that. We should organize a group, because that is number one on my list, is down to Peru and that area, and Lake Titicaca, and yeah.
I'm booked with you. I'm there.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, Mary, thank you so much. This was a wonderful interview. I just loved it, and I loved connecting with you. And I just wish you more success on the work that you do with clients. You're making such a difference in this world.
Thank you, Kim. Much love to you, and thank you for the work and the healing that you bring to many.
In today's WooWoo news, SpiritualityHealth.com published an article in 2009 titled Putting Chakras in Their Place. The article was written by Gil Hedley, PhD, anatomist, and founder of Somanotics, which is the exploration of the inner space of the body. I liked this article because it approached chakras from a very rational yet open-minded perspective. Dr. Hedley mentioned what he calls the observer problem, meaning, quote, I have found what you actually see in the physical human form is completely dependent upon what you're looking for. But the reality of the body is neither the collection of its parts nor a series of textural layers. It is rather a nearly infinitely complex whole. Reflecting on the chakras, then, we might consider them as points of emphasis, abstracted and mindfully specified out of the whole. Just as endocrinologists, gastroenterologists, and orthopedists will have very different levels of interest in the pancreas, for example, we can fully expect different perceptions, interpretations, and schematizations of the chakras from those who perceive and work with them directly, unquote. I believe this goes back to the notion of intentions and what we choose to see in this world. Going back again to that question, what resonates for you? Dr. Hedley could not confirm the existence of chakras definitively, but he did comment about energy in general, beyond the physical body. Quote, chakras cannot be dissected out of their continuity with the total energy field, as they are not lumps of separable matter, nor light bulbs that can be flipped on or off. Yet the movements within each of us, the emotions we feel swirling, and our connection to one another and the living matrix in which we are all embedded, all of these can be understood in terms of ranges of frequencies and vibrations, unquote. Thank you for tuning in to WooWoo for the Skeptic. For more on the show, visit woowoofortheskeptic.com, or for more on me, check out kimpolinder.com. And now for your moment of woo. This quote comes from Margaret Paul's book called Inner Bonding, Becoming a Loving Adult to Your Inner Child. Quote, one of the major false beliefs that we all need to confront, the belief that underlies all codependent behavior, is the belief that our happiness and unhappiness come from outside of ourselves, from how others see us and treat us, from whether or not others love and approve of us, or disapprove of and reject us. Most of us believe that we are victims of other people's behavior, that how we feel is a necessary reaction to how someone else treats us. As long as we believe this, we have no power to make ourselves happy. Our external relationships are mirrors for our internal relationship. Others will love us and support us when we learn to love and support ourselves. Have a great week, everyone.